Only when there's gravity.
Sorry, only when there's gravity. So you're just going to beg the question of this non-force. Sorry, why on earth would you beg the question of this gravity when, number one, mass does not attract mass? That is 106 years out of date. And the current rhetoric of gravity, Einsteinian bending pseudo-force space, isn't a force.
If I put an aircraft in a ballistic trajectory...
Who gives a shit? We're talking about gas. I'm still yet to get an answer where you get the pressure. You said gas will press on me. I'm on the ground. Gas pressure. Where'd you get the gas pressure from?
Gravity.
No, gravity's not a force. Gravity is things going down. Gas does not do that. It's about the 8th time I've told you.
Gas does do that.
Oh, gas go down, go boom, boom. Like bouncy balls. So which gas is produced in the sky?
Which gas is produced in the sky?
Yeah, to go down.
I have no idea how...
None of them, you fucking clown.
Say that again? I didn't hear you.
None of them are produced in the sky and coming down like fucking rain. Gas isn't produced in the sky. It's produced at ground level and makes its way up. Up, not down. It's coming out of the fucking ground and going up. It's not coming down like rain. It's not produced in the fucking clouds. Gas is going up from ground level, not down. Understand that it's coming out of the ground and going in all directions away from the ground where it was produced.
Agreed.
Right, so it isn't going down then, you fucking idiot. We haven't got pools of helium.
We have pools of helium at the...
No, we fucking don't.
Yes, we do.
Oh, really? Where do we find these pools, puddles of helium? Show me a picture of one.
Spread evenly over the... Well, it's invisible, so it's a bit hard to take...
Sorry, invisible pools of helium?
We have pools of helium...
Are you high right now?
Well, it's invisible.
You unlock this door with the key of
retardation.
Beyond it is another dimension. You're moving into a land of
bullshittery.
You've just crossed over into
the numpty zone.
You are so dumb. Damn.
Hey, how's it going out there, guys? Welcome to the show. Got a great one lined up for you today. Maybe some invisible pools of helium. You just never know. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Check out Discord. Wasn't too many people in there when I first walked in, but as soon as I left, they all piled in. They all started talking. They're all fired up. Head off to beautiful Betty Van Velsen. What's up, Betty?
The sky, John.
I fell for that one again.
Yeah, everything is good.
Same old answers, though, right? Let's see what's going on. Did we get some more people on Discord?
Oh, yeah, we did. That's Flat Arthur.
Who do we got?
Flat Arthur, he fell asleep last time.
Flat Arthur's been in the past few times. He hasn't said a word.
Yeah, maybe his mic is broken.
Ask him.
Flat Arthur, is your mic broken? He can't talk. Seems.
Nope. He's not typing anything either. I guess he just likes being in there. I guess he's developed some type of shy bug.
Yeah. Well, you never know what happens.
Yeah, you do never know. All right. So, who else we got?
That guy in the chat, in the thing with the helium thing.
That was a gentleman that was that showed up on Nathan Oakley's show yesterday, and I think he was taking the Bitcoin challenge. And whoever takes the Bitcoin challenge with Dearth deep inside the rabbit hole, I think they're sent over to Nathan to evaluate their position.
Wait a minute, I don't understand. So Dearth that's deep in the rabbit hole, right? That someone with a channel also on Flat Earth, right?
Yes.
What is the Bitcoin challenge that he does then?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know it exactly right, but if they can prove any point of a globe that they get a Bitcoin or 3 Bitcoins, maybe somebody else has a better idea, but they have to exercise the Nathan Oakley crucible first.
Okay, so if first they have to go to Nathan and then they get the Bitcoin.
Yes, if they prove any aspect of their spinning ball space monkey religion, then I think they get a Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so people need to get an extra incentive to be able to to prove their point with ball that's so much provable, right? They say.
Maybe Nathan can explain a little better than I can. It's just, I think conceptually I'm in the ballpark, but I don't know if I'm precisely accurate. 3 Bitcoin.
Yeah, sure.
Here we go. Nathan's in chat. He goes, 3 Bitcoin to prove a globe.
3 isn't that a lot of money too?
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
So that was a gentleman. It was a marathon session, and I don't think he was ready to enter a preschool debate, let alone going into, the lion's den. Every single point was destroyed. Nathan did it effortlessly, right? As usual. But he wasn't prepared. He was just making shit up. Right? And that usually doesn't work with Nathan. So that was one of the parts.
Did he have a degree of some sort, or was it just a regular Joe?
A degree in what?
Whatever.
Go ahead, Adam.
He had some training. When he was talking about gas behavior in the container, most of it Nathan dealt with, but there was points where he was blagging, and there were just little bits of detail. I smelt a straw man, and there was one. So he was fairly knowledgeable about it because he tried to introduce a single gas particle and talk about kinetic energy, but he's trying to set it up with a difference in energy of the container and the one gas particle, trying to make out that therefore there's not kinetics. And technically there's a tweak that will equilibrate in there, yeah, especially very quickly with one gas particle. But he obviously knew what he was on about, so he understands gas law to be able to build that straw man. So again, a great example of that. He doesn't have anything, and he's not because of ignorance, because gas law denies his claim, and they need to build a straw man.
Well, he knew surface stuff. The typical thing, Betty, you know this deal. He knew a whole bunch of surface stuff, but that's just enough to get your ass handed to you. If you just know surface stuff and you come weeble wobbling your butt in the Nathan show, your ass is going to be in a sling quite quick, as you already know. Right?
Could I just say that the whole one gas particle thing, when someone says that, it's obvious. Understand gas. All gas is one gas particle because they're all unbonded. They all move about independent. They're independent entities.
Right.
Independent entities.
Yeah.
So 1 or 1,000 makes no difference.
Exactly.
There's maybe less things to bounce off, but it won't behave different, will it?
Yes. Correct.
It's got less chance of a collision. The only chance of a collision, if there's one of them, is the container.
Yeah, well, he thought that he didn't understand elastic collisions. I was sitting there listening, and I'm just waiting, and then he stated that then gas molecules, they lose a little bit of energy. I said, "Oh, good Lord, look out!" Yeah, but my favorite, obviously, because I played it, was the invisible pools of helium. I love that. Oh, you'll be hearing it again. Too funny.
So where are those pools?
They're invisible.
Okay, but can you locate them some other way then?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
Because maybe we can harness that because we need more balloons up there, I suppose.
There is a helium shortage.
Yeah, well, it's up there, up above.
Well, it comes out of the ground, but I think NASA's been scooping all that up. They need that for their party parades. They're the largest consumer of helium in the world.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, who knows how many balloons are up floating around?
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And then people see these UFOs in the skies, and then because the sun might shine or the moon will shine and lit on them, and then they think, hey, a UFO, right?
Possibly.
Something strange crossed the moon, and it's just a balloon.
Something strange and stupid this way comes. Yeah, but I like when I heard the invisible pools of helium, I just couldn't help myself. I said, I got to get this. So I have yet to go through the whole thing. I've listened to it a couple times, but I don't want to take too much out of it because mostly that's Nathan's, right? But I enjoyed the invisible pools of helium. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Nathan asking him, so which gases were produced in the sky?
Oh, that was, I agree. Know. Yeah. Go ahead.
None of them.
Yeah, because, that was really good too. You know what? There were so many parts of it that were outstanding, and I do agree with you, Mitchell. That was really good. He didn't get the implication, right? Because if he said gas molecules go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash, then for him and everyone to breathe, then the gas molecules would have to be produced in the atmo, right?
Yeah, the gas factories in the sky.
Yes.
The ones that, by saying, I don't know, leaves the door open to possibly maybe gas molecules might be produced in the sky. No, none of them. That's the point. They all start at the ground level.
Right. But he didn't get the nuance. He didn't see the one more step implication of it, which was hilarious. As soon as Nathan said it, I said, "Oh, he's got him. It's over." Right? Yeah.
It was an epic. It was an epic show. Extended live edition of I think it was 1507.
Yes.
I encourage everyone to go back and watch that. That was an epic show. Exactly how you deal with the baller.
If anyone can, if they want to, they can spam that in the chat. It was 1507 FED. Yep. Outstanding.
I like the gyros, but I tell you, it was an epic because it covered so many bits. This guy just started flailing once he'd realised he'd lost his Bitcoin, and he started throwing in all sorts of stuff. And I think we even got the standard ignorance of gyros, the claim that a pendulous vein is a pendulum off the bottom of a gyroscope. It was kind of like a tour of all the things you've accrued to slap ballers with over the past 3 years.
Yes. You're right, Adam. That was right. When he said pendulum, I said, what? Wait, did you say pendulum? And then he said pendulous veins. Does he think pendulous veins are pendulums? And I don't know whether it was you or Nathan busted him real quick.
I jumped on that. There was a couple of times. It was quite funny because it was like kind of like this is defending Dave's Bitcoin sort of thing for Nathan, and it was an epic thing, and there were very little bits that any of us got in. Hence why I think Chocolate got swore at a couple of times. Because Nathan was on it, and I was aware of that. Do you know what I mean? And he was on it, and it was an absolute masterclass. And the guys were talking afterwards. Said we all knew just to back out. We wanted to get in, and there's a couple of times you can't help yourself with a chump like that. But yeah, we all sat there and just really enjoyed it. I particularly just enjoyed Nathan taking them apart. It was as he just kept spitting, and each bit it was a constructed answer that we've all learnt over these past 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I just thought, yeah, respect Nath, because there wasn't one bit where he weren't in control.
Right. And people on the panel would try to get in, like Neil and Chocolate. You did a couple times, and Nathan just quashed it.
No, it wasn't necessary because, like I said, he was in control. The points we were trying to get in were, like you say, letting your wolf pack go and have a little chew on the bone.
Yeah.
Because there was a bit. Nathan didn't need it because he was sticking to the main points. All the bits, when I chipped in, that's a straw man. They were kind of superfluous points just to add extra injuries to the already disabled man, you know.
Right.
But it wasn't necessary in terms of winning the argument. That was one early on.
Oh, that was it. I think that was one. It was in the pre. Did he show up in the pre-show?
I didn't get there till a little bit late, so I'd missed the pre-show and the first bit of the show. So I'm not sure, but
I'll be looking out for that, Nathan, for the whole show. That's is that going out on your main channel? It should be. So I'll wait for that over the next day or two, unless it's already come out and I missed it. But I'll catch up with it. Another funny part, I'm just thinking about it since we were talking about this guy, was the gyro theodolite. That caught my attention, right? So
yeah, I've done a fair bit of research, John, on this since that, because I've looked we've looked at gyro compasses, and
sure.
One of the Rob Durham, and I chatted with Rob on this, bought one, and we were trying to figure out what it does, how it works, because the internet claims and what it does when you've got one are very different, and the things it makes you do, the way it works is very interesting. It appears to be generate a bearing as far as I can see. So
a generate. Hold on. Have you been listening to numpty clips?
Yeah.
You sure?
No. Why? What? Go on.
You better start listening to those. See, you're busted.
Oh, good. Go on.
Yeah, because the last numpty clip before we started the signatures was one specifically on their claims on a gyro compass. And I went over it pretty much in depth. You're busted, dude.
No. Generate, not maintain or realize. Generate. So he uses the gyro. It's very. You have to put so much stuff into it to keep resetting it to make it work, which is why it comes with the disclaimer, yeah, that you can't use it on aircraft and stuff. So it seems to use the gyro to back calculate, holding that initial gyro position. But you have to put stuff into it.
No, that's not what their claim is. See, you need to go back and listen to that.
Not their claim. What? When we've looked at how it works compared to what the manuals say, what it makes you do. Yeah. It doesn't match up with the claim, yeah? The information you're having to put into it every day, it doesn't fit with what they claim by hanging a weight on. It works in alignment with Earth's rotation, which is just absolute a cack.
Okay.
Let me just finish it. This is the point of the gyro, the gyro theodolite. They're claiming that by balancing it, it works in conjunction with rotation, which is the biggest pile of nonsense I've ever heard.
Yeah.
In terms of what it is.
If you stroke it with pixie dust from Gondor, if you need to stroke its gimbals, right, with pixie dust from Gondor, this is what they think. Let's just be concise. These idiots think that once a gyro compass is spun up, it automatically searches out true north. That's what they think. Right? And if you listen to the numpty clip, which you didn't do, you'd have known that.
Well, so I've looked into that. That's the point I'm saying. And then this is all about manipulating a gyroscope and overweighing what it does. Again, it becomes nonsensical in terms of function of a gyro, in terms of what they're claiming from an applied force that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Anyway, and the primary point of their claim is that drift is in some way exactly based on longitude and latitude. It has some bearing on it. There's been lots of work on that.
Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you. Can we, Adam, they claim that the precession that happens in a gyrocompass is due to the rotation of the Earth. It's got to do with the spin of the motor. They looked into it, what actually causes it. It's the spin of the motor, not the causes precession.
Well, Stefan P built the big one for people to analyse, and that's there. There's so much variance in such a bigger gyroscope than they use. There isn't this correlation. Yeah, you can figgle through stuff and try and extrapolate something, but there isn't a direct correlation there even between the two things in the testings I've seen. So that's why I was interested in this gyro theodolite and the claims within how it seeks true north is just fantastical. You can understand how a gyro theodolite works once you spin up a gyro and you've already lined up what it is and it stays there. That makes real bloody sense how a gyro theodolite would work. But as to how you pretend that a gyro theodolite seeks true north, it's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the same principle. It's the same principle as a gyro compass, same thing. What you do is you spin it up and you take your magnetic compass and then you line it up with the magnetic compass right before you add or subtract, depending on where you're at, magnetic declination to get true north. And then you fix it to true north. That's what you do. That's how it's done. Simple.
Yeah, they call it calibration.
Yeah. Now, if you're on a ship and you're making a long trip, that thing has to be checked every now and again. One, for errors because the throw of the ship, and two, because over distance magnetic declination changes. So it's going to throw off that true north with the gyro compass. So this is a 2015 argument. It's disheveled. It's a belly laugher. I can't wait till they bring it up. I just sit back and wait. But go ahead. Sorry.
There's a bolder claim than that.
Where at?
Within this crap that I've been reading. And Brian might be able to help me because I was only reading it yesterday for a few bits. And so I'm not fully comprehending the mechanics. Now, it's based about applying force and the 90-degree application that it does on that. But if you overweight this gyroscope and put a weight on it on one side, apparently this weight is affected to the point that you let the thing stabilize and it will then stabilize with the rotation, meaning that you get true north because it points to the center of rotation of a ball Earth.
No.
This thing. Yeah. And that's why they use it and how they can then use it under mines. In mines where you've got magnetic disturbance and stuff, so you can't define magnetic north to get true north. So this thing apparently
hold on a second.
Works. Now this is the final bit. It works on the premise that the Earth's spin aligns it and keeps it aligned to true north. It's the biggest pile of cack I've read. I'm not able to destroy it fundamentally yet because I've got to get into the detail. But that's the fundamentals of the claim, John. By sticking a weight on it, yeah, it helps.
I heard you. You don't have to say it again. I heard you the first time.
I'll stop.
Say again?
I was aghast at the claim. Yeah, that's what, hence the enthusiasm.
Oh, I got you. Well, Adam, if they're not numpties now, I'm taking that for granted. They don't wait till they go down into the mine shaft to set up the gyro. They set it on the surface.
No, I know this. I know how a gyro works. I know if you set it up and you can take it. Yeah, but it's the bullshittery of the claim in it. And now I understand why they're waiting it and doing stuff because you only want it in one axis, so it makes sense to do all that stuff with the understanding of a gyroscope. But the bullshittery of what they're claiming that this weight then in some way, and they invoke gravity in this as well.
Of course,
the rotation of the Earth and gravity that keeps it aligned to then keep it aligned to true north.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to apparently set this thing up first. It will find its own way to true north.
Yeah, right. Go ahead,
And,
Brian. Brian, if you have something to add on, try to keep it concise.
Yeah. Yeah, well, QE. Yeah, actually, it was just the gravity thing I was going to talk about. Because when I first heard about the gyrocompass claim back in 2015, 2016, it was claimed that gravity caused the mercury in the forward pots to move to the backward pots, which caused the torque, right, within the gyrocompass. The DC current that runs through a gyrocompass, that causes mercury to go to be slightly magnetic. And when mercury is magnetic, is it a diamagnetic, where I know it's para or diamagnetic, I can't remember, where it's repelled from a magnetic field. So when they turned it towards north, they had a particular way of doing it, won't with all that, doesn't matter. What would happen is the mercury, because it's been made magnetic, it would move away from the North's magnetic field. So the mercury in the forward pots would move into the backward pots. So the back pots, it can't go any further, and it would cause a torque. But they were claiming, like absolutely claiming, that this was gravity, without ever looking into what caused it.
Oh, brother.
So that's where the gravity power comes from with them. That's where it started with, anyway.
Right. That's a little bit further down. That's a little bit further down the rabbit hole. I just killed it because their surface claim, because they're numpties, just because it's spun up. Like I said, if you stroke its gimbals for pixie dust from Gondor, when it's spun up, it just points to true north, which is abject, preposterous, ludicrous absurdity. They don't have a friggin' clue. They heard this from somebody and parroted it mindlessly. That's all they did. I just take that and just jack that thing yard. Cheese and crackers. All right.
No, I really liked what you did with it, QE, because you tore it apart with just magnetic declination. That's
Right.
all you need is magnetic declination.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Anything else on this before I'd like to move on? Just a couple short presentations today. I'm sure you guys enjoy it. Anything else? Betty, any business that we need to attend to?
Nope.
Yes.
Why the hell not?
Well, Adam said yes, so maybe you can go to him.
Go ahead.
Well, just a little bit, and he won't speak to us because he's on mute all the time. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Flat Earthers channel. I was in there tonight, and it was in English tonight. It was quite cool. I've got a little bit left to watch. But respect, bro. Yeah, he's got a load of flat earthers. He's got some ball earthers, and he's keeping that topic going and pulling the ball earthers back as they want to wander off. And the flat earthers, a really good show. Arthur, I enjoyed it, mate. The bits I've seen, like I said, I will catch the end of it as well. So just wanted to give him a shout out and his channel.
Oh,
thank you so much.
There he is.
He got it out.
Hey, you guys did call my name in the very beginning, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was there on the phone, but I was there here also. I'm very sorry about it.
I called you out the whole last show.
I know, but last time I was sleeping. So right now,
that's what Betty said. That's too funny.
So that's been happening for so many of the previous shows of yours. I've missed the Ballbuster show, so many of your live open panels. And in many of them, I was through almost 1.5 hours of many of the shows, but then I dozed off and slept. So it's almost 2 a.m. by then here in India.
Oh, yeah.
I always
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I always wanted to say hi to Mitchell from Australia, but once again, Mitchell also airs his premieres. His live streams are also at 12:30 a.m. They start at 12:30 a.m. midnight here in India. So shout out to you, Mitchell. Just love your work, what you do, your Flat Earth School.
Hey, brother, appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I see you in the chat sometimes.
Yeah, Flat Arthur, I was hollering him out. Now he comes on and he says, well, he goes to sleep during my shows. Now he did caveat it with the time. I'm glad you did that because it sounded like I was like boring or something.
I said I go to sleep after 1.5 hours,
I got
during
you.
which I do not get a chance to speak.
I got you. And like I said, welcome to Mitchell. In fact, that is so much like you. I was just going to say how you like Mitchell as new on the Ballbusters team. So you already dealt with that. Way to go, Flat Earther. You're all over it.
I'm just waiting to do good enough job here in India so that I can be a part of it too.
I got you. All right.
I'm spamming your channel now, so anybody who's listening, if you look at the live chat, I'm spamming Arthur's channel now, so subscribe, guys.
Outstanding.
When you do it in English, it's cool. It's rubbish, frankly. If it's not, I ain't got a clue what's going off otherwise. If you don't do an English show, but yeah, wicked. And like I say, really, compared to, I think it's a very Apner style offer is all I can say. Yeah, it's a lot more civilized the way you guys are interacting with each other. Watch it, you'll be surprised at how polite the argument is. I was.
So can I say something about that particular show?
Yeah.
So the globe earther there, the only globe earther there was a 83-year-old Indian Army veteran. And
They're called
he's
Matthew.
Yep, Matthew Thomas. So I have had a word with him before as well, and he is a Bible-believing Christian and is already aware of the pandemic and is doing a lot of real ground on the work. He is approaching the Supreme Court of India against mandatory and mass injections, if you know what I mean. So he's already aware of a lot of other things and is really open-minded towards this topic of flat earth also, which is why every flat earther who was there was trying to give as much respect to him also. And we have these kind of discussions on text all day long in our WhatsApp groups. So there we do become a little impolite towards him, pointing out his mistakes, but this was the first face-to-face discussion, I mean, on an online platform we were having. So yes, we were overtly civilized in this one.
Cool.
I'll
Thanks
tell you
a lot.
what else was weird, John.
I said, cool, thanks a lot. Now, let's try to be concise. We don't want to be here all day.
Well, one more thing, and that stuck out to me was the amount of mention of Christ from an Indian channel. I noticed that a couple of times, and I wanted to ask you about that. These Christians all over there, or what? What's going?
What's your question exactly?
If I was surprised by the way over there in that channel there was Christ, Jesus being discussed. It was part of within that discussion of flat earth stuff was being mentioned. The Bible was referenced. That from a from an ignorant point of view was surprising to me that on a Indian channel discussing flat earth, the support wasn't the Bible and Christ they're referenced in there. That was surprising to me. Pleasing, but surprising.
Yep, so that would be me. I usually make it a point to bring up the Bible whenever it is necessary. And in many of the other casual discussions that we have amongst flat earthers, obviously there are flat earthers in India who follow the Vedic philosophy of life and that kind of an approach to flat earth. And we debate / discuss among ourselves also. Yeah, so that happens usually, but I represent the flat side. I'm sorry, the Bible side, biblical side of it. And another friend of mine who was also there in this particular discussion that you saw.
Okay, interesting. So in India, are there many Christians, you think?
Yeah, but that's a very small percentage of the population.
Okay, but if you are searching out things in India, you can come to the Bible and be able to read it and come to the truth in that sense.
Yeah, quite easily. Yeah, it's
Because
available.
you usually get these claims by atheists that say, well, if you were born in India, you would not coming to Christ, because you would be in Hinduism and Buddhism and all those other religions. But it
India
is
is a land of so many. India is a land of so many languages. I'm not sure QE wants me to be concise. I'm sorry. Still, so we have so many different languages here in India, and coincidentally enough, in my mother tongue, the Krishna, you must have heard of Krishna here in India, our god Krishna, the ultimate god. So in my particular language, Krishna is actually pronounced as Christo, which is similar to Christ. So even the name is same, but yes, all of us know of Isu. Jesus is actually Isu or Isa here in India in our languages. So I'm sure every part of India knows about him, at least, although they may not take him seriously, or they have a strange idea about it, but about the name, everyone must have heard.
wow. So yeah, so the gospel is sort of being brought everywhere, but people tend not to go to it, maybe. But you have the chance in India to be a Christian, right?
Didn't Thomas go to India?
Yeah.
I'm sure these on the west coast, halfway down India, is where there's the point where the Apostle Thomas goes, preaches, and there's all sorts of stuff there with regards to Thomas and naming him and being linked to Jesus and him coming there to preach the gospel or preach the kingdom there. I don't think there isn't it. The opportunity now, and you can talk past, but I think the opportunity, even at that point, is there, and that's Thomas go. But what Arthur's talking about is that the reputation, the language. Obviously, it goes through the Middle East, so Isa, yeah, all that's there. But the reputation is already there. It doesn't require the Bible necessarily to deliver the knowledge of the impact of Jesus.
Sure. Yeah, you don't need the Bible specifically, but it helps, right? But I just wanted to know if you're in India, if you could be acquainted with the word Isa and Jesus and Christ, and you would be able to be converted to Christianity, right? I mean, that's something that you hear from atheists, like, well, if you're a Muslim, or if you go to another part of the country where there's a sort of religion, right, going on, that they say, well, you will be adopting that religion because of the place that you've been brought up in, right? And that's apparently not always the case. So thanks for that, Arthur, Flat Arthur, and I liked hearing that.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's not that easy, even being a Christian here. To be very frank, you can get killed, and we hear news about Christians getting killed because they were blamed to be converting others. These news have become more common than before these days.
Yeah. Well, the persecution is already there, right? Also in China and all the other Asiatic countries too, right? Yeah. Okay, let's turn back to Flat Earth, because I think that John will be impatient if we don't do that. And I got a super chat to shout out, and it's from Godzilla37, and he says, "Love your show, QE, but I have a question for you. What exactly in the field of quantum physics could be considered as natural science?"
Diffraction. That's the whole. That's the whole basis of quantum mechanics. That's where everything originated from and continues to originate from. So it's all based now. There's a couple offshoots you can take on that, mainly in engineering, computer science, and things like that with applied physics. But the natural science all started with diffraction. All starts and stops with diffraction. Good.
Hope so.
You should probably expand on that, because
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not going to expand on it. There's nothing to expand on.
I feel a little little bit of what was going on last Saturday in Ballbusters, right?
Somebody's got their mic
I
open.
only mean it in the fundamentals, John. That we're not even talking particles, we're not talking photons, we're not talking waves. We're just looking at, in the natural world, when we look at our eyes and we look at what light does through things, it has a funky behavior. It has a phenomena that we can't instantly explain. That is where it all starts. The rest follows, but it's the behavior of light, to me, that opens this up. Well, to dispute that as a non-phenomena is nonsensical.
Yeah, it all started with light, but you still get diffraction from other things. So
we can set up experiments, can't we, and do all this, but the reality is there is a natural phenomena there to begin the investigation from. I think
yes,
is what was being alluded that. Where does that come from?
Yes.
The mechanics.
Yes, it started with light, but I'm getting feedback. There you go, Adam. Yeah, it started with light, but as it turns out, everything acts the same way. So yes, you're correct.
Well, we got a response from the super chatter, and he says, "Yep, good."
Okay, was that good to go?
Yep.
All right.
So you want to move on to your?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to do 2 small presentations, if you guys don't mind. Am I good to go? Well, yeah, I know. I was saying, well, I ate half the damn banana already. I just want you to know.
Well, the thing, you open things up for us to go on. So with these sort of questions, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's kind of my fault?
Well, what do you mean with fault? Is there a fault to be made?
I don't think so.
Right?
I don't think so. I got a general plan outline in my mind. I know people like to talk, and listen, the other topics, they were legitimate topics and stuff, so I'll let it go, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, because we are also Christians, you
yes.
and I, right?
Yes.
I don't know about Adam, but Adam is interested in Christianity.
Oh, brother, here we go.
I'm not a Christian by your definition. So, but what I did enjoy was talking about and finding out how an impact Christ has had, the message of Jesus, how what we just said there. It's interesting to me, stuff like that. So I don't need the badge. You can call me what you want. With regards to my following of the path of Christ.
Oh, I was going to call you names, but okay.
I'll take it, infidel even. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't care. That's kind of irrelevant to me. I don't need that badge, but I do love it. When we have a sojourn like that where we wander into Christ in India for no planned reason, other than that it happened. Good fun.
All right.
They're the best bits.
Yeah, she's the best, huh? All right. Anything else? I'm going to do this one more time. Anything else? And then we'll go off on a tangent for another 30 minutes. So maybe I shouldn't say that and just get.
Banana, right?
Say again?
Then you can eat the rest of your banana.
Yeah, there's not that much left.
Yeah, well, don't let it turn brown.
All right, let's get into it then. I'm not going to share this, guys, so you're going to have to watch it on the watch page. So there's a couple small topics I wanted to bring up, and this has been the elevation angles popped up, obviously, in the genre that we're talking. They're going to pop up, but I wanted to drop anchor right here and not move past this very important point. Now we're going to do a small presentation on this, and then we're going to get to Eratosthenes and eclipses. If you don't know what the connection is, you're sure going to see it here in a few minutes. But first, I want to drop off at elevation angles and just try to take this in. Just simple concept, right? So this is from the math expert, Q Math. I love the rocket, by the way. Thanks for that. So angle of elevation, does something jump off? This is a rhetorical question, by the way. Does something jump off the page right here that you must have for angle of elevation? Or elevation angle, same thing, right? You see this baseline right here? Yeah, that horizontal line, you must have that. A horizontal plane or you're not getting an elevation angle, okay? Just want to make sure. Everyone knows this. Let's define the monkey. So from Math is Fun, angle of elevation, the upwards angle from the horizontal to a line of sight from the observer to some point of interest. So you see the horizontal here. It doesn't say curve. You're not getting a curved line. You're not getting an angle from a curved line, baseline here. From the adjacent trigonometry fans. It's not going to happen. That's not how you get an elevation angle. Just in case you didn't know. Also from Merriam-Webster. This is interesting. Angle of elevation. The angle formed by the line of sight and what? The horizontal plane for an object above the horizontal. Damn, they use horizontal twice in the simple definition, a single sentence, right? You need the horizontal line, baseline. When you're talking about elevation angle, you can't get there without it. From radartutorial.eu, measurement of elevation angle. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane. You get it now, folks. You're not getting an elevation angle without a horizontal plane as your baseline. You're outside the definition of elevation angle. You baltards getting this. This is how simple it is to destroy your fairy tale. So elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. Yeah, duh. From Varsity Tutors, the term angle of elevation denotes the angle from, here we go again, the horizontal, upward to an object. An observer's line of sight would be above the horizontal. So you got horizontal mentioned a number of times. It's almost getting redundant, right? In single sentences in the definition of angle of elevation. So this is your Huckleberry, baltards. We can stop right here. Why? Well, what does a sextant measure? Could be elevation angles, possibly. Let's check. So, a sextant from, you're going to love this, from nasa.gov. A sextant is a tool for measuring the altitude angle. Don't let that fool you. That's the elevation angle of a star above the horizon.
Uh-oh!
Yeah. Uh-oh. Well, to have an elevation angle, you have to have a horizontal plane. You see this guy right here? You have to have that, NASA. Where are you getting that from? Oh, you're in it now. From Britannica.com. In the hands of a practice observer, the modern sextant can be used to measure what? Elevation angles? With an accuracy of 10 seconds of arc. That is, close enough to determine a ship's north-south position within a few hundred meters.
Uh-oh!
From Princeton Astronomy. All the observer does now is to use a sextant to measure the angle of altitude, elevation angle, H, of the noon sun with respect to the horizon, and to record the exact time of this measurement.
Uh-oh!
Another baltard spinning space monkey religion.
Fatality.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year of the sextant. The baltards are dead. It's all over. In fact, it's going to be years, because I'm dropping anchor right here. Could be for the next 5 years. We're just going to grandfather all these years in. It's the years of the sextant. I'm not moving away from this. You guys are toast, man. I can defeat you, your entire fairy tale religion, with just a simple phrase. Guess what the phrase is? Elevation angle. That's all I need. That's all I need to say. You're through because of that. Get it, clown shows? Probably not. Have your slobber nurses describe it to you. Questions and comments here, quickly.
It's the age of the sextant, not just the year.
Ah, good point.
Was there more to this presentation?
No, that's it for this one.
I was going to bring up exactly this is coinciding with something I just posted in Ballbusters. There is a claim that you can measure R using these elevation angles. Did you want to, if you haven't got anything else?
No, I do have something else. No, I do got something else.
All right.
Yeah, we might do that next time. Let me review it. But you're not getting are they, when they say elevation angle and radius, are they using a horizontal plane?
Absolutely. That's why I posted the image.
Oh, well then welcome to Flat Earth.
Yep, welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, I'll check it out after the show, Mitchell. But yeah, welcome to Flat Earth. All right, anything else on this? Any comments or questions? Just keep them concise.
Super chat first, before Adam starts, because then I can't get my super chat in. So it's from Sasha, Unitex Fable, who says, so my baseline is horizontal. Interesting.
Yeah, this thing right here, you see this line right here, the adjacent, right, and the corner pocket, you need this line right here to be horizontal, flat, level. You can't get an angle off a freaking curve. It's nonsensical buffoonery. And it's not a triangle, by the way. I think these guys need, I just ran into somebody in text chat earlier today that was confused about two-dimensional shapes, right? Let me tell you something, bonehead baltards. Triangles are two-dimensional shapes. So are circles, okay? Just to let you know. Go on. Sorry about that.
Oh, has Betty got more of...
She better have more super chats.
No. You're okay, Mitchell. Go.
Mitchell, that's Brian. And why no more super chats? Go ahead, Brian.
Well, thanks, QE. Well, I'm being told that a radius line can be curved. That's what I'm being told now.
Ah, you are?
By people over on Wolfie 6020's channel, yeah.
6020?
Yeah. What was it? What was the latest one I got? One of the latest comments? That a straight line in spherical geometry is curved. That's what they're trying to make up a radius for a circle on a sphere.
Wolfie's got bigger problems than straight lines. I DX'd his dumbass back in 2015.
Oh, yes.
He's still around.
Yes, unfortunately he is.
Yeah. He's a numpty dipshit. I just drug him around his whole channel in front of all his friends back in the day. Wolfie, you whistling past the graveyard. You still got, I can't believe you still got a channel. But you guys have no...
Many loyal followers. Sorry.
It was effect as well. Wasn't he? That was effect.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
He was on to that as well, I think.
The last thing I seen from him back in the day was the it wasn't the gyro compass. What's the other one? The I can't remember.
Ring laser? The ring laser or something?
Train lake thing? That.
No, it wasn't the ring laser. No, I can't. Just move on. I can't remember.
Right, I got 2 points. The first is, with regards to this, mathematically, and the second is, I'm going to bring Jesus back in. But the first point is, mathematically, if we assume this and we allow the conversion to a ball, okay, the stars are very accurate and they're based on this playing a trig, right? Now, you can back convert it into a ball, but by their claim, it's not a ball, it's an oblate spheroid. Therefore, your 69 or 60 nautical miles per degree is not applicable. and needs to be compensated for and is not compensated for. First point, just geeky bit of math.
Well, wait a second. You're not getting an elevation angle. You're not back. No, you're not. You're not getting an elevation angle.
No, you're not. And okay, but the point 1A then, before that point is, yeah, these are measurements based on reality, and the reality is trigonometry. Everything's based on that, and that fundamental line that you draw at the bottom, the baseline, is flat. It has to be flat, and it's flat for the duration of you, the observer, to the GP of the star. That's the whole way in which it works. It's the whole way in which we measure it, and it's the way in which we calculate it. You can backwork it afterwards. So that the final point is to bring it back, which I found really. I was doing some bit of research this week, and there's a suggestion, John, that you look at the Celtic Cross. Yeah, it's a bit funky, isn't it? A bit weird. Why is it like that? Why has it got that wheel in the middle? All sorts. Why has it got that? It turns out, actually, if you have a wooden version of it, it's a sextant, and it'd be used, and that's why you see it on a lot of graves. It's a way of pointing to heaven. It's a way of navigating to heaven, because these things taken out of history and recontextualized. Actually, there's demonstration of how this thing works as a sextant, which is why you'll see Celtic people from 1000 AD carrying a Celtic cross as well. It functions as a sextant. Now, it functions in the way that we would use optically. We would use the horizon, but the way in which you put the cross in the ground, it works like a plumb bob to generate your horizon, and then you use your cross. Dual purpose, but I just thought that was interesting. So a little bit of research that Celtic crosses also can be used as a sextant. Not the stone ones, obviously, but
that's interesting. I know what you're talking. I could see it in my mind's eye. I never realized that it was a sextant. So, thanks.
Yeah, with the plumb bob.
With the plumb bob.
Well, you see, you use one optic in the sextant with its lens to generate your horizon, which is very useful at sea. Right. If you're traversing land, it's very hard, to do it. That's why you have to generate an artificial horizon with the sextant. Actually, the cross, and what's found in the Queen's Chamber of the Pyramid, this bit of kit, is exactly a cross with a plumb bob that generates your horizon and then allows you to use the same principles to navigate the stars on land. Oh, really?
I'd like to see the plumb bob with that.
Well, that's found in the Queen's Chamber. There's a rod, a staff of Aries, which is a double hook, and then this all weight. And the strings obviously eroded over time, and it's puzzled people for a number of times, but this guy's put it together, linked it with the Celtic cross as well. Huh. Which is basically a protractor,
right,
in the middle of the cross,
right,
and shows how. And the interesting thing is, if you take the rod lengths found in the Queen's Chamber and build a sextant based on these things, then it gives if you were to use that piece of equipment, it would give you the accuracy of 3 arc seconds.
Really?
To define anything by. If you look at how the pyramids are built, they're built to within 3 arc seconds, which is due to the length of the shaft of the cross.
Who the hell are you? You Indiana Jones?
A little bit sometimes.
Well, don't let him use his whip then. Huh?
That was really interesting.
That's Thursday nights, Betty, at the club.
Sorry, Adam.
That's pretty interesting, Adam. That's really good. I'd like to hear more on that, just not now.
I'll stop there. Yeah. Me and Tenth have been chewing over this last night, and that it's really quite cool stuff if you look at. There was one more bit.
Go ahead.
And it's to do with translation of time. Well, apparently we couldn't navigate. Well, this thing with the stars allows you to find local time. It's genius, but I won't bore you with the details of that. I was
Right.
going to get that nailed down exactly. So
Well, that's
it's
cool.
key.
I just wanted to stress the elevation angle. See, just a simple concept. I don't have to go into the into any microscopy with it anymore. I'll prosecution rest with the elevation angle.
Yeah.
Because you need a flat horizontal plane baseline, the adjacent, or you're not getting an elevation angle, period. So, Your Honor, prosecution rests. And you're finished, Baltards, right there. There's nothing you could do about it. Now, it's going to be funny watching you friggin' slither around the ground and flail, but that's all that's left. You see how these things are getting easier and easier over the past 2 years? Because it's like whack-a-mole time. I'm shooting pregnant hippos in a fishbowl.
Pregnant hippos?
Again?
Pregnant hippos?
Pregnant hippos in a fishbowl. That's how easy this is. Just shoot them.
Oh, but they don't. They are pregnant.
Well, it's a metaphor.
I know, but you can't shoot pregnant people or beasts.
Thanks for being our moral guiding light, Betty.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, don't we all? All right, anything else on elevation angles?
One more thing.
Go ahead. Go ahead. And
Question for
Brian,
Brian.
hold on. We'll get Adam and then Brian right after that. Yep. Go.
It's a question, Brian, actually, because right. So, Brian, they're talking about this circle of equal altitude, and they plot it onto a sphere as if it's a circle, and I just want to in 2D geometry, circle. Okay, we can stick any 3 points on a circle, draw a triangle. We can stick it on an ellipse if we want. Doesn't really matter, and it'll equal 180 degrees the internal angles of the triangle we create within the circumference of an ellipse or circle in geometry. The thing the ballers have been saying for a number of years is, and pointing out, is apparently these internal angles don't add up to 180 degrees.
That's not a triangle.
Right. If it's not a triangle, it's not a circle. If it's not a circle, it's not a circle of equal altitude. Therefore, their claim doesn't fit the definition of what's being calculated.
Exactly.
Is that the claim of 390-degree angles on their sphere?
Well, 180 internal angles in any triangle. So for years, as flat earthers, they've said, oh, look, if you go from Cape Town to Rio to London, those angles don't equal 180. Well, then it's not a triangle. Therefore, if those points hit on a circle of equal altitude and it's not a triangle, it's therefore by definition not a circle. Therefore, it's not, their definition doesn't fit the definition. That's the point, Rich. I know it's a bit geeky,
Yeah.
but do you get me?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think there was a challenge put to I hate to bring the name up, Wolfie 6020 a few years ago, that he claimed that you can have three right angles, 390-degree angles to make a triangle on a sphere, and he modeled it out on a sphere. And obviously, as you just said, if it's got more than 180 degrees in that triangle, it is not a triangle. It's not going to make a circle.
That's correct. Yeah, and Wolfie, you'd fail third grade intro to geometry, by the way. You clowns, you just make shit up, right? It ain't gonna fly. We're gonna take you to the woodshed, right? I'm sick of listening to it. Your numpty dipshitteries, I'm done with you. It's a quick death now. Sorry, there's death and shooting hippos. Who else told me you can't be shooting hippos? Now, get it right. Pregnant hippos.
What happens in the woodshed?
Free Mind said, don't be shooting hippos, QE. What the F? Yeah, get it right. They're pregnant hippos in a fishbowl. Now, go ahead, Betty.
I said for the third time, what happens in the woodshed?
They get beat about the head and shoulders with a nail spike 44-inch Louisville slugger.
Do they survive?
Not likely.
Okay.
All right.
Woodshed.
Is that understood? All right.
Yeah.
Brian, you had something you wanted to finish up.
Woodshed then, huh?
I'm sorry. Betty was rumpusing me. Go ahead. Finish up, Betty.
Oh, you were rumpusing me for crying out loud. I will shut up for a while.
Just for a while. I think Brian had something to add.
Well, yeah, it's just something very small, but it's very, very good.
Good.
Is that the reference you have from NASA.gov, I think it was?
Yes.
That is excellent for their Polaris claim, because their Polaris claim needs an elevation angle.
Exactly.
So that's excellent for that.
Yeah, so the 3 previous photos I put up there with the eclipses were NASA, in order of appearance was NASA, Rice, and Smithsonian.
Oh, one last point.
Oh, wait a second. We didn't get to that. Sorry. So I'm way ahead of myself. We're going to get to that in a second. That's the next presentation, but go ahead.
I thought so.
Sorry about that, Brian. I'm already thinking I'm done with that presentation. But you'll see it. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, that kind of answers my point. Well, when we get to elevation angle, I'll make that point. I thought I'd missed it or something there.
What? You did miss it. We already did elevation angles. I'm going away from that.
With regards to Polaris, so if you're going to make other points, I'll hold.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Eratosthenes. Now, I've been wanting to do this for about 2.5 years, and something's always come up, and I've gone on to different things. But I caught this a long time ago, and I know you guys already know when I bring it up. I haven't seen people defend it in this way, which is kind of surprising because it's sort of because there's like paradoxes everywhere with Eratosthenes. We all know that it wasn't an experiment. I'm not going down that road. I mean, we could destroy that in pretty much a plank time. But I'm saying that there is an inconsistency with Eratosthenes and the eclipses, right? You can destroy them both or make the, in fact, it's a trichotomy, a triple trichotomy paradox that I'm going to take to the woodshed here in a couple seconds. But I'm surprised that no one's caught on to this. Maybe they thought about it. They just didn't say anything. Right? That could be a possibility. Let's take a look at one of the major premises of Eratosthenes, right? What is one of the major premises? Well, that we have parallel sun rays, right? That's a major premise. You can't get around it. Now in the distance to the sun, but that's connected, but we're not too much concerned with that. So we got parallel sun rays, right? Eratosthenes needs. What are we seeing here? These look parallel to you. Maybe you ought to define parallel. Maybe they changed the definition of level and curve. They probably have different definitions for parallel too. Ladies and gentlemen, these aren't parallel. Just to let you know, right? You got big problems. Because we're seeing parallel or divergent rays, I'm sorry. And the rays must be parallel for Eratosthenes, or his nonsense that he didn't even do. That is a begging the question fallacy, 2-step removed anecdotal fallacy, right? But he needs those parallel rays. Without them, he's screwed. But what do we observe? Well, I don't know. That looks like divergent rays to me. You? Here we go again. What's going on here? Pollers, you're finished, man. But there's a problem. What's the problem? Well, the consistency between the arguments between Eratosthenes and academia with what? Anyway, well, let's keep it rhetorical for right now. So these are divergent rays, but there's a problem. What is it? There it is. So they need parallel rays for Eratosthenes. We observe divergent rays, and then they give us models of convergent rays. What in the hell is going on out here? You see these rays coming off the sun, giving their fairy tale penumbra? As if. What are they? Look at all this. Number one, are these parallel? They look convergent to me, but in reality, we're seeing divergent. Right? This is from NASA, by the way. This is the first one. Let's check out what Rice University has to show us. Uh-oh. We got NASA, pseudoscientists. Now we have academia. What are these parallel rays? Again, I'm going to need somebody to have to define parallel for me, because that's not how I remember parallel meaning, right? These are convergent. Convergent. Oh, we got problems in Shangri-La, folks. And now we got the Smithsonian. What's going on here? Eratosthenes, you're toast, by the way. The sun, these are all convergent rays. And rays don't exist, by the way. Why do we always observe... Oh, sorry about that. Why do we always observe divergent rays, divergent sun rays impacting the Earth in reality? But the pillars of pseudoscience and academia show convergent ray models we just looked at, all the while at the same time saying that the sun rays, which rays don't exist, like I said, by the way, that impact the Earth are parallel. What kind of a ball-tard circle jerkin, triple speak, evo-tard, three-step belly laugher is this? What's going on here? Does anyone not realize this? We got a triple decker of nonsensical buffoonery, folks. They're holding three mutually exclusive positions as true at the same time. How can you do that? Does the natural world presto magico evo-tard shapeshift reality into whatever mindlessly parroted argument that spews out of your incoherent ball-tard blowholes without regard to the tenets established in your previous and future train wreck arguments? Here's the question. Does it presto magico shapeshift? By the second, by the minute, you're screwed. You're finished. Triple decker paradox. That's it. Questions, comments?
Oh, an hour's time. Is the one with just the line raised, John? Well, that one, the sufficient, the one that's up.
Which one? I didn't. Which one? I don't have any.
It doesn't really matter. Anyone with the sun with a line, a converging line toward the Earth, creating a number and penumbra. Yeah,
we'll go with NASA.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a great. Why not? Let's use NASA. No one is going to argue with their diagram, are they? The chemist in me, okay, says, right, what's going off here? What's going off here? What's occurring? What's generating the light? Right, we've got photons. Well, photons leaving the surface of a sphere. What's gonna determine if we were in sphere world their orientation of direction? So, what I'm struggling with, just as from a chemical point of view, chemistry point of view, and understanding of those, is by a photon from the sun being emitted off the surface, yeah, is going instead of going off a tangent, what we're looking at, one here, we're looking at one, some of them are going past 90. They're interacting with the corona, all sorts of strange nonsense. So, the thing that galls me, to kind of summarize it, is trying to understand the path of a photon when they describe this, because they even excluding all that criticism, even if we had them leaving in a sensible, orderly fashion from the surface of a sphere, they wouldn't be parallel then even, and that's kind of the apologetics you hear. Yeah, well, it's virtually parallel, and that's fine if you want it to be virtually parallel, but if it's virtually parallel, nothing comports to that diagram that you then say happens.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah, no, that's another good point. I just didn't bring that point up. But yes. But see, they're saying that they're parallel. They're saying that, but we're observing non-parallel. We're observing divergent rays, and then their model is showing convergent rays. So we got a triple-decker nonsensical buffoonery.
Yeah,
that's
it. Let's say I'm giving some apologetics. So if I allow them, it's a sphere. That everything's leaving that surface of a sphere, and it's a radiating sphere. Then I have to understand how that radiation occurs. Now, again, giving them some apologetics. No, I can't say they're parallel. Actually, that distance they've now put it to, any bits of light, they're the remnants of the initial point played out, but they're not parallel. But to make that statement is wholly incorrect and a lie, even in your own belief system. You shouldn't make that statement. But if you assume they're virtually, which is something I've heard the Rumpers say, yeah, then that's fine. But then that diagram on screen does not comport to them being virtually parallel because of equal emission from the surface of a giant sphere.
You think?
Yeah, it's just frustrating, the contradiction there.
Yeah.
Like I say, you've got to have photons leaving at degrees greater than 90 off the tangent of the surface. It's nonsensical. Look at some of the lines. Look at where the umbra penumbra, look at the crisscross point. Look at the angles those photons are coming off the surface of a sphere. It's just...
I don't know. Has anyone ever, come out with this? The triple-decker nonsensical buffoonery here? The circle jerk and triple speak Evo Tard 3-step belly laugher? I can't.
Hello.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Brian.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were after.
No, go ahead.
I was saying QE. Well, no, I've attacked them on their eclipses, and all right. And it is a heliocentric claim that it's the moon, for a start. It is a heliocentric claim that it is the moon that gets in the way of the sun that causes a solar eclipse. I don't know if it is. We talked about that recently on the debates, and a lot of us said we didn't have enough evidence that it actually was the moon. But either way, it doesn't matter, because in their model, they can't use parallel rays for the solar eclipse because it wouldn't work. So they have to use these convergent nonsense rays, don't they? Because they can't use the parallel for that scenario. They have to change it. Because if they had parallel rays, then you'd have only whatever area the moon would cover would be shaded, and the sun's light would be going past that. So you wouldn't have like their claim that they're virtually the same size, in angular size or whatever, wouldn't matter because the sun's rays would get past. If you understand what I mean?
Yep.
If they're parallel rays, like even parallel rays, you know what I'm getting at?
That's it, Brian. Even if it's virtually parallel, then they're not converging, then, are they? To give you, you get me? They want to define it behaving in one way and then they acting in two other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't make a solar eclipse with parallel rays, so they have to give you this convergent rays.
Yeah, it's over.
If anything is leaving the surface of a sphere, yeah, think of all the... Go to an atomic level, just with a snooker ball, and everything leaves from the atom, right? And it leaves... Each bit is going to diverge instantly. The only true path of escape from the surface is divergence. Divergence based on, in this case, molecular distance, yeah? And even though it's... And I'm talking in their claim, even though it's minute, the amount of drop, for want of a better phrase, yeah, is still there if it's the surface of a sphere. So there's no way the leaving particles can do anything other than diverge, yeah? So to then turn that into converging, it's just an impossibility. The shadow should be much bigger.
Exactly. I mean, sorry, Adam, you want to finish talking?
And devoid of this umbra penumbra kind of situation to the extent that they're talking. But that's it. But it should, the light in their claim, it has to diverge. Yeah, it has to.
Well, if we actually did have parallel sun rays, which are an impossibility considering the sun is claimed to be a sphere, if we had parallel sun rays, then there would only be there wouldn't be like a north and south of the equator, winter and summer. Like winter would be the same for everywhere, and summer would be the same for everywhere, because the angles they speak about don't work if you have parallel rays. If you think about, like, their claim is that when the globe Earth has the north tilted away from their sun, then that angle then causes a winter for the north of the equator people. This rubbish is like, no, if the sun's rays are parallel, it means the sun is so big that the inverse square law of light hasn't even happened yet. So if they haven't even started diverging yet, then everywhere is getting those sun rays. So there can only be one winter when their globe Earth is furthest from the sun, and one summer when the globe Earth is closest to the sun. Then they have two kind of, I don't know, two spring autumns or some nonsense. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work. They can't have 4 seasons for 2 hemispheres with parallel sun rays. So the whole thing, parallel sun rays is terrible for them. So I don't know. I suppose they have to claim it, but I don't know where they're going with it.
They're going to
parallel sun.
Go ahead, Mitchell. Go ahead.
Yeah, parallel sunrays is absolutely devastating for them. You look at those diagrams where the sun has parallel sun rays going straight to the Earth. Are they saying that it's a spotlight now? Is it a directional spotlight straight to the Earth? Can you not see these sun rays anywhere else if they're parallel straight to the Earth? This is devastating for them.
Yep. Like I said, they're holding 3 mutually exclusive positions as true at the same time. 3.
That's what Mitchell said there is spot on. Yeah. So just to come back, Mitchell, if you want to elaborate, yeah, the behaviour is exactly what you see in the diagram that's on screen now. The behaviour you see is described by a parabolic mirror behind a light source, like the sun, a bulb which emits one way. The parabolic mirror is what creates the umbra penumbra. So if you go into your shed and take your torch out, you'll get the umbra penumbra. Yeah. It's the parabolic nature that creates those additional lines. But if the only source, yeah, is a circular sphere where the light emanates off of the surface, you can't get those additional lines. It requires the parabolic mirror behind it, a flashlight, as Mitchell says, to give you those shaded areas.
Can I try?
Go ahead.
These pictures now showing that what we experience in real life, that what is that picture now, is that true?
Which picture are you talking about?
All that sun with going through clouds and
oh, these pictures. Sorry, yeah, you're on a bit of a delay if you're watching the if you're on the watch page.
Yeah, but I want to ask about Eratosthenes.
Let's put them all up there. There you go. Go ahead.
If that does we experience that in nature, that means that we can conclude that somehow it looks local in all that pictures. And that with that conclusion that sun is local, we can say that Eratosthenes is proving that Earth is flat.
That would be correct.
I don't think you need to go
because
define distance, Sasha. Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, Eratosthenes is working. They say on the boat, on the flat and the curved surface. But listen this, okay, but we have the sun 93 million miles away. But in reality, we have the examples of local sun, not of that in reality, I'm saying now. If that is happening in reality, then Eratosthenes is proving that Earth is flat.
I would totally agree with that, absolutely, because I looked into this thing with Eratosthenes, and what he actually did was he basically set up a 500-mile longitude line. That's basically what he did, a 500-mile longitude line between Cayenne and Alexandria. Sorry, and he had to, like, the claim is that he had to pre-assume that it was a globe, but he had to first pre-assume that sun rays were parallel. But if you don't pre-assume the sun rays are parallel, then there's only one outcome from that, and it's not globe. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm not poo-pooing you. I'm saying the point, we don't have to geolocate the position of the sun. It's not relevant to demonstrate whether it's near or far. The point is to demonstrate whether or not those rays are diverging or they're parallel. That's all that's required. Yeah, it's not for us, because if you make the claim that it's near, you've then got to substantiate that claim, and I think that takes you into all sorts of issues that aren't necessary. But what we can say is, look at, as you said, look at the pictures. Are they parallel rays? Is that the behavior of parallel rays? No.
But even that story about 2,000 years ago, if you want to, repeat that story, we cannot to do today, because who can put one stick here and go up 100 miles in straight line and say this is straight line? I was going to do latitude, I don't know, straight.
We can do that, can't we? We can say you need a phone to translate local time to the other geographic position. It's the only way to do it is instant communication, all those things. But fundamentally, you can get caught up in those arguments, and I do. Actually, at this crux, the premise of Eratosthenes is that for his mathematics to work, to calculate the size of the sphere, the rays are coming in parallel. So the only thing needed to destroy it isn't to geolocate the sun, all of the other stuff. It's just, are they parallel? Well, by their own description, as I've rambled on about how it comes off, and as you highlighted, those images of reality, are they parallel lines?
Can I please add something?
Yes, go ahead.
So I have a little bit of a problem with with a few of those images where the sun is far away at the distance and the rays emanating from the sun, we are calling that they are divergent, or from our perspective, they are converging at one particular point, which is the location of the sun. But then that's perspective, isn't it? Because if you look at parallel railway tracks, they also seem to converge at a point, although we can be 100% sure that the tracks are still parallel. So that's also how perspective works. A few of the images where the sun is above and then we are seeing divergent light rays falling on the water can have a different explanation based on the angle at which the sun is hitting the clouds. But for those pictures where the sun is almost at the horizon and the light rays are emanating from there, don't you think perspective has to do with something? Because even if we drew actual parallel lines to our perspective, they are going to seem to converge. Isn't that the image that flat earthers show about perspective? And how is this different from that?
That's not correct, because what the convergence of parallel is something that happens horizontally, but you're looking vertically and at an angle at the sun. It's not the same. You don't have the same perspective. It doesn't work the same. It works horizontally, but it doesn't work if you're looking up at rays of the sun. It's not the same.
We're not right.
No,
we're not looking, with regards to perspective and just. We're also looking at a point source. Okay, the railway track doesn't have a point source. It just has a point of optical dissolution. This does.
So let's just imagine.
The rays aren't. Let me just finish flat. The rays, and I have a propensity to pause too much. I know. I'm sorry. The rays that we're seeing, this imaginary concept, how we describe how the light appears to us optically, they're not rail tracks. They're not physical, are they? So the way in which they're generated is from the point source, not through perspective reduction, but this coming from that source.
Yep. So
it's not a physical thing that we can say we can just directly apply perspective to. And as Brian said, X, Y, and Z perspective are very different things. This is not, if you look at the multitude of pictures, this is all a point source experience. It's not a perspective. There are perspective within the pictures. If you look at some of the ones coming through clouds, you'll see the point of convergence, the point of eminence is different as it cuts through different clouds. That's where perspective kicks in. But the simple fact that the point source is the origination of it all is nothing to do with perspective.
But the same kind of convergence and divergence of light can also be observed on windows which have slits at at the perfect intervals which allow the light to converge. Now, once again, if you trace back all those rays, it would seem as if the sun is just outside the window, but actually it is not. And there may not be a particular source of light. Just the outside of the window needs to be lighted. Anyways, my point is, if you want to imagine...
That's Arthur. That's the best point. Yeah. So, what are we trying to do from this point on? Are we trying to understand our reality, or are we trying to argue the crap that the ballers are putting? And this is where we need to start. Where do we want to carry on from here? Destroy the ballers with known ways in which light behaves. Or do we want to draw conjecture about actually, yes?
No. I'm just waiting to hear it from the experts just to clarify the doubts which are there in my mind. So if I can give you a mental picture that I have. So Brian, I understood what you were trying to say. So how is it different?
I tell you, it's different because your view is different. The reason the things converge in the horizontal is due to your angle of view to the ground underneath. And it'll even happen if you're up high looking across at buildings. Sometimes you'll get that. But if you want to prove or disprove it to yourself, watch a time lapse of the sun going across the top of clouds and watch the rays coming down from through the clouds to, let's say, the ocean underneath. Watch a time lapse of that, and you'll see that the rays will change in angle to follow the sun. That's not perspective. Do you understand? Because you're looking at rays coming down. They're like coming down in vertical nearly. They're coming down in your vertical, your Z. They're not in your XY. They're coming. It doesn't work the same way. They're all going up to meet a source, a point source. Whereas in reality, if we were talking about perspective, then parallel will never meet. So in reality, you could have, let's say, 1,000 train tracks that will all look like they're going off into the distance, but they'll all meet at the horizon. Do you understand? They'll all meet at the horizon, which will be a line. Whereas the sun is not a line, it's a point that all these rays are meeting at. So if you look at a time lapse, because I've heard this before a few times, this question has come up. If you look at a time lapse of the sun and its rays going through clouds onto water, and a time lapse of that happening for whatever, an hour or two, and you'll see or whatever length of time, and you'll see the rays of the sun changing in angle as the sun moves. So that means the rays are moving with the sun. And it as well as that, the sun, you have a sunspot as well for where the sun, it shows where the sun is directly over, if you understand what I mean. Like it's GP or whatever, it's ground position.
Right.
Just answer me this. How is... Adam, can I please?
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Answer me this. How is what you're saying different from, let's just imagine, two chemtrailing planes at a height above our head, right? And they are 50 meters apart, let's just say, in the air, 40,000 feet above the surface of the earth, right above your head, they are 50 meters apart. And they, by keeping the same distance between them, start going towards the horizon. That means away from you, keeping the same height, 40,000 feet. Now, at the horizon, it would look like they are converging into a point, although they are not. They are still 50 meters apart. So a point, which is the sun in this case, is said to be of a very huge size, bigger size. It is not actually a point. But it seems, because of perspective, that it is a point.
Well, the thing about it is, the difference is this, is that the sun rays are coming down, whereas the two trails left by the airplanes are going, they're going parallel to the surface of the Earth. So they are perspective because they are moving in a straight line above your head. So there's two straight lines above your head, whereas the sun rays are coming down to meet the surface of the Earth. And that's the difference. They're not coming down, they're moving in horizontal fashion above your head. Whereas sun rays are coming down and hitting the surface of the Earth. You can see it even through clouds when it's hitting the water. Those sun rays are hitting the surface of the Earth. So they're coming from a point down at angles and hitting the surface of the Earth from above. Whereas the chemtrail planes or the trails off of planes, they are a parallel horizontal above you. Do you understand what I mean? That's the difference. So that when it's horizontal, it's always perspective. But when it's coming down from above, like with sun rays, then it's a different type. It's not perspective, because it just doesn't work that way.
No, you can't say it's not perspective. It's perspective plus maybe a few other things, but perspective is still there.
Well,
right.
Go on, Adam.
It's not for me. Mitchell has this video, and I hope he's there, where he takes his drone, and he does two. Well, he takes one with perspective, where he does that, suggests take it out and keep it at the same altitude and measure it. That shows you perspective. But what he also does is take his drone across the beach. And I hope you're there, dude. And the way in which the sun rays behave, and remember that's a construct, rays, yeah. The way in which it renders for us is very, very different. There is no perspective in there. There is a point source that's the occurrence. And yes, perspective does come into it, but to me that one demonstrates when you see why. Ask the question, why does the sun follow you across the beach as you walk? Mitch, are you there?
Yeah, mate, here. Yep.
Yeah. Can you, because that video, I love it, mate. That's why I typed in chat, I love that vid.
me and Owen, went over that. I think, that's what I saw you type it in chat. You love that video. Me and Owen went over it, so I made the demonstration of the drone, the physical object being above your head 90 degrees. And then as it goes out towards the horizon, it appears to drop. So we get an angular change, an angular elevation change, I guess you'd say. But relating that to the celestial bodies, you can tell that those celestial bodies are not physical. They don't demonstrate the same properties that we're seeing in the drone, a physical object.
Sorry, Mitchell, I thought you were finished.
I was just asking Adam, is that what he was getting at? Is that what he liked?
There's that one, and there's the one where you kind of take the drone across the beach. And you,
you're seeing the sun going to everybody's feet, and they're all seeing the exact same image as it pans across the beach. Yeah, everybody sees the sun at their feet, but obviously the drone only sees that because it's lined up with the person. That's what the person's seeing. But everybody, being in a different location, everybody sees that. I do like that video. It is a beautiful video.
I have the answer to Arthur's question. Arthur, you know what the difference is? The best way to answer it is this, is that what is light, right? Light is going to diverge because of the inverse square law. So from wherever the light is coming from the sun, it has to diverge. Can you find a light bulb or any torch where the light does not diverge, where the inverse square law of light does not happen? So that's the difference. Not only are you dealing with something that's not horizontal but vertical, but you're dealing with a situation where you're dealing with light and not physical properties. Because even chemtrails have physical properties because they have a certain amount of matter within them. And the chemtrails are in your horizontal, making a parallel with the surface below. But when you're dealing with sun rays are dealing with light. So, like, light has to diverge. All light, like, diverges from its source, the inverse square law of light. It all diverges from its source. So, consequently, they can't. It's impossible. It's impossible for them to be parallel. Do you understand?
So Mitchell hit the nail on the head earlier, didn't he? When he described it as a flashlight. That's why I jumped to, because if you're talking about a spherical object in the vacuum of space, right, not a light bulb in an enclosed room, then the light diverges infinitely. It only goes. There's no reflections. There's nothing. Right. So you've got to put it like that and follow the path of the photon. The only way to do that is, as Mitchell says, is use a flashlight. That's what creates those other funky angles to create your umbra penumbra. Yeah, is that parabolic mirror behind your point source of light. Well, that isn't in their model. Last I checked, not a lighthouse, is it?
Last you checked.
Well, it could change, John. That's what I mean. And they reserve that right, don't they? So
yeah, they do reserve that right. Because, like I said, they're holding 3 mutually exclusive positions as true at the same time. So anything is possible.
Isn't it funny how they say we have a flashlight above our head, a directional sun, and it's literally what they're saying is happening in their model. They've got the directional flashlight sun.
Yep. You got it, Mitchell. You're all over it.
Oh, that's another one, isn't it? That's another one. Where's your edge? Yours is a flashlight running down on your flat plane. It's another one, isn't it, that they shout? Well, go done, mate. You deserve that one. That should be named after you, mate. That's another. What's the phrase, John?
I hereby knight him the flashlight sun, Mitchell. Good.
Projection, isn't it? It's projection of their weakest points. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when they say to us, "Where's your edge?" It's because they've got an edge and they don't want to discuss their edge because it relates to our. That's another good highlighter. Actually, the reality is for their models to require it. They attack us with, "You've got a flashlight shining down." Actually, our model works with movement. Yeah, but theirs actually to fit with what we started with early on, which is that umbra penumbra, that parallel, unparalleled, paradoxical nonsense. The only way they can do it is, like I said, to stick a parabolic mirror behind their sun and turn it into a flashlight. So yeah, respect, Mitch.
Yep, he's all over it. Yep. Flat Arthur, did that satisfy you?
Not 100%, but I think that's all for today.
Okay.
Can I shout out the super?
Yeah, go ahead, Betty. Yep.
I was gonna say I had a quick question.
Hold on a second. She's gonna. Betty's in control.
Just a quick super chat shout out. So it's from Untitled Sasha. He says, "Try to go today with camels 500 miles straight."
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you something. This little story they cooked up, it's a train wreck of epic. Every single thing. But remember, it's two-step from reality anecdotal fallacy to begin with. There is no primary documentation. This is nonsense, right? If you ever did your pace count, like if you're doing navigation and stuff, you have to figure out your pace count. So you know what type of distance that you're walking over land. I would like to see somebody go 500 miles with their pace count. I'd love to see it because I was off at 200. Best case scenario, best case, I was off at 200 meters. So I'd like to see that nonsense. I got it with the camels, 500 miles, Sasha. That's pretty funny.
Exactly. That if you walk, that you sort of have a natural sort of diversion.
Yeah, yeah, you'll go around in circles and stuff. That's the second part of this issue. The first part is getting the distance correct. I mean, 200 meters, you could do it. You're in hand grenade range. Other than that, you're screwed. You're going out 500 meters. Give me a friggin' break. Especially if you got elevation changes, you're screwed. So practically, this is a tear-jerking belly laugher right off the bat. This is something that conjured in people's imaginations and then wrote it down, and then people just take it as read without thinking about the practical application of it. It's a belly laugher.
It would only work on a flat plane because you got mountains, you got valleys that you had to go through, right? From going to point A to point B.
Yeah.
I mean,
that story is so ridiculous that people even can say Eratosthenes did that 2,000 years ago. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all over.
and everything that is being recorded in the Bible, that's bunk. Right?
Yes, but Eratosthenes is right on board. I just wanted to point out today, my sole mission was to show the three mutually exclusive positions. That's all I wanted to do, and what a belly laugher is. My question is, pick one. I want to know which one they're going to pick.
Why? They want three of them.
Yeah, right. Because as soon as you iron out and pick one, you're finished. True. The ball tard's over. By the way, if you didn't realize it out there. Hopefully there's some new people watching who've caught this. It's just your typical, it's not only double speak this time, it's triple speak. Go ahead.
Well, we got a contender here in the chat that probably wants to be unmuted. Ellen of Cyrene.
No. Not going to happen. Nope.
All right. Okay.
Not happening. I'm not doing space-time donuts. I'm sorry. Go back to 2015. That's not happening on my show anymore. Sorry. Bring in.
Sorry.
I was going to say bring in some new meat with some credentials. Yeah, I'm really scared of you. I'm quivering so uncontrollably in my boots right now. Honey, get the medication. Clown. Piss off. Not you, Sasha. Listen to me. Brenda. Right? Go back to your little numpty clip the other day, number one. And number two, piss all the way off. And then when you get there, piss off some more. Bye. Don't come back. Go ahead, Sasha.
Is that Brenda?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not dealing with that. She shouldn't even be righteous. Where's righteous at? I'm not. Let's just do this. 1 second. Let's go there. Okay, go ahead, Sasha. Is that all you had?
Yeah.
I just want to say something.
Go ahead, Brian.
QB. Thank you. If we take a tennis ball and we hold it so it's somewhat close to the light of a lighthouse. Let's say we hold that light steady. We stop it from rotating and it's on its axis. We hold that light steady. We take a tennis ball and we hold that tennis ball towards that as close as possible to the lighthouse light. Now, no matter what way you tilt that tennis ball, right, forward or back, it's still going to get the same amount of light. There's not going to be a change in that light because that light is going to be so strong. Right? Especially if we can get it right up to the bulb of the lighthouse, then it'll be the least amount of divergence. And if we could do that, even with that kind of light, you could tilt that tennis ball forward or back all you want, and the change in the amount of heat that light the amount of light or heat that tennis ball receives. If you move back the tennis ball 100 meters, the light that it receives will still be equal if you tilt it forward or back, but the heat may be a little bit less. So that's what their claim is in their model. That they have these parallel rays, and that one time of the year in December or January, that their globe is closest to their lighthouse light, and then in June, July, their globe is furthest from it. So they can't have seasons north and south of their equator line. They can't have that at two different times of the year. They can't have summer in the south and winter in the north, just through the fact of the 23.5 degree tilt. Because if the sun rays are parallel, then they can only have one summer and one winter for both hemispheres. They can't have a summer and winter at the same time, two different times of the year. Can't be done. Because if you think about the scale, if you take a tennis ball as close as possible to a lighthouse light, that would be somewhat the scale of the sun. The sun would be even bigger in their model to their globe. And the rays are claimed to be parallel. So no matter what you do, no matter what way you twist and turn that tennis ball, whatever side of it is faced towards the light is going to get equal light and heat. There's no way it can't. Because if you're making it as close as possible, then that would be the least amount of divergence. So, you know, their model basically states that there can only be one winter and one summer for both hemispheres. You understand what I mean?
John?
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to step away for a second.
I thought you were eating your banana again.
No, that's done. Brian, I missed a good part of what you said. I had to step away. I'm sorry about that. But I think I caught the last bit of it. I heard you talking about it before, about the seasons and stuff. Is that what you were saying?
Well, I mean, basically what I'm saying is that for scale for their model, if you take a tennis ball and you hold it as close as possible to the bulb of a lighthouse, then that'll be the least amount of divergence of rays that you can come up with as far as a big light on a small sphere.
Right.
And any way you tilt that tennis ball, it's not going to get any less heat or light. Right? The only way it'll get less heat will be if you move it back 100 meters.
Right.
But even at that, the light will still be equal on it.
Right.
If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
On scale.
Yep.
So they can have a summer in the north and a winter in the south, and vice versa then 6 months later, if you understand what I mean.
I think I'm tracking with you. I haven't thought about it, and that's it. Go ahead, Adam. You were going to say something?
I just want to paint it in reality. Yeah, we've had a shit summer. It was really nice and warm around Easter. Yeah, and we had a crap summer with all of August. Yeah, just after midsummer, being under the 20s. Yeah, 2 days ago, the 10th of October. It was 22 degrees here. Season regulated by distance of the sun is nonsense.
Adam, that's climate change. You don't understand.
It wasn't warmer when I was closer. It was freaking colder by a significant percentage. Yeah, that's my point. Not always got warmer in your winter. Lovely, that'd be nice. I'd appreciate that.
And it's all because of us. We are too much populated in this world.
Yeah, but I'd like to go back to that point, Adam, just to point out, I'm not trying to, be a stick in the mud, but temperature is governed by more than just the proximity to the heat source, because you got weather, you got winds, it could be, you know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. I'm not done. Hold on a second. I'm not done. Like,
You're never done.
I'm always now. I'm in the Midwest in Missouri, home of the Missouri boat ride. I'll just give you an example. Especially around this time of year, fall or in the spring, right? It depends on the wind shifts. If the wind shifts from the south and we get all that Gulf air coming up, it will heat. It'll heat you up to where you can't believe. But if that wind shifts, if you got weather patterns that shift and bring any Arctic masses down, you'll freeze your nuggets off. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, but those winds can't be there, right?
I'm saying there's more to temperature than that heat tab in the sky. It's important.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying there's some other factors that we have to take into consideration.
I'm saying the world is running, is turning, right? Like they say that, like the world is turning. Right? Then we got only one way wind.
Oh, gee, we're not going down that road.
There is in reality, and this is the point Brian's making, but not in their model, okay? Because the differential of distance to the heat source is so much. This is what is purported to play. Now they play it out that the angle of inclination, because the light's parallel, it equates for that. That's why we get these seasons. They have all this nonsense based on it, but it's based on the fact of distance and angle of inclination from parallel rays from a heat source. Yeah.
Right.
Now, when I was a kid, I used to like take a bit of bed, and I had a little lamp, and I could put a bit of bread on the lamp, and it'd turn it into toast. Right. It was at no point was there a magical situation, right, where I could take it away from the toasty point of summer, put it into autumn, fall. Yeah. There was no other set of conditions that would allow that bread to toast. It just didn't even get warm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the reality.
I see what you're saying. I'm following you. And I think that's what Brian was talking about. Right,
Yeah,
Brian?
Well, yeah.
Fucking him.
Oh, yeah, well, I was talking like in their model, there was no way for there to be a summer and a winter both simultaneously on their globe. It has to be either summer or winter everywhere, and some kind of an autumn, spring in between. You couldn't have 4 seasons for 2 different hemispheres. You couldn't have that because of what they're claiming. It'd be impossible. As I say, a tennis ball next to the light of a lighthouse. I mean, how big would that light be in comparison? Like the sun would be bigger again.
Right.
That would be small in comparison. That you could use a marble if you wanted.
Right.
It still wouldn't maybe even be right for scale. You know, the point is their model. You can't have 4 seasons for 2 hemispheres, if you know what I mean. In what they claim, that was my point.
I got you.
No matter what you do with a tennis ball close to tilt the tennis ball forward or back, it doesn't matter. 23.5 degrees. That's not going to change.
Yeah, I'm following
the
you.
light or heat is getting off a lighthouse.
Yeah, right. It's preposterous. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good point.
Who's seen that video by, I think it's Friend of Yahweh, the YouTube video channel, Friend of Yahweh, Tilt the Marshmallow Charlie? Has anyone seen that one?
I haven't.
I'll just go through it if you haven't. So there's a father and a son just sitting by the fire with marshmallows, and the son's trying to melt his marshmallow, and he's getting close to the fire, and he's just not doing it. So his dad says, no, it's not about getting close to the fire, Charlie. Tilt the marshmallow. And he tilted it, and it burst into flames.
Just tilt it. Too funny. Very good. Very good. Okay, you know what? This was a really good show. I enjoyed it a lot. I like the simple ones and catching them in their tomfoolery. And this is one of the occasions. And I shouldn't have put it off this long. I'm not talking about the elevation angles. That's well dialed, but I'm talking about the Eratosthenes and their eclipse issues.
Well, I'm just thinking, are we going to end on Mitchell's bold claim that marshmallows, s'mores, disprove heliocentric seasons?
I'm having a problem how you're equating s'mores with just marshmallows. Isn't it more than that?
Well, yeah. So to get your s'mores, though, you've got to tilt your marshmallow at a certain angle, yeah, to make it cook properly. You get the distance, yeah, before you stick it between your biscuits, isn't it?
Between the biscuits. Between the whisker biscuit.
I never get that far. I just eat them. I cook the marshmallows. I don't want a biscuit. I just want that hot, tasty, sugary goodness.
Oh, here we go. Right into food. Is Nathan around? No, it looks like he friggin' popped smoke a long time ago.
You can relax. But I think that's a bold claim. But I'm with it. Yeah, that marshmallows do disprove heliocentric seasons.
Yeah, this was good times, man. Outstanding. Hey, Betty, any more? Let's go ahead and finish up. Any more admin?
Nope. Not at this minute. Nope.
All right, let's head down. Channel shout outs, final thoughts, and let's make it snappy.
Okay, so Brian's Logic. I think you're the first one on the list.
Hey, Betty. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't on for the past few. My channel is Brian's Logic on YouTube. If you wanted to subscribe or like anything there, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Concise. Yeah. Flat Arthur, still awake?
Yep, I made it.
Yes. You made it to the end of the show. Yay. Go on.
So I had only one thing to say. I did not get the marshmallow joke and any of your marshmallow references.
Me neither, Arthur. That doesn't matter. Just let it slide.
No, don't let it slide. Mitchell, I got it.
Oh, good God.
Explain it.
Just tilt the marshmallow and it'll burst into flames. It's not about proximity. That's the joke. Tilt the marshmallow. It's all about tilting the marshmallow, Charlie.
So I am a guy from India and we do not eat marshmallows and we do not know the culture which puts a stick into those marshmallows and then burn it in the bonfire or anything. I have never done it as a kid and I have never seen anyone do it. People are catching up these days in India, but that's never been in our culture. So I have no clue what you're talking about tilting it.
I'm going to have a go at this. Right. So, tandoori chicken. Right. What you got to do, you haven't got to put it in the tandoor. Yeah. That's daft. You don't need to do it. What you do, hover it over the top and rotate the angle. And when you get it to a special angle, that'll cook it.
That's brilliant.
Hold on a second. 1 second. Flat Arthur, did that resonate with you?
Yep, it did.
There you go. Thanks, Adam.
Who knew I was that?
Chicken.
Hey, how cultured am I?
You're an aristocrat.
I don't get it. What's with the chicken?
Tilted tandoori chicken. That's awesome.
I can't tell the difference between a kiwi and an emu, but I can give you an analogy.
That was classic last week when you did that. Yeah, Truth Seeker, I just seen your message. Yeah, go ahead. You can ask a question. Sure. Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't want to just intrigue or anything.
No, just try to keep it concise. Hold on 1 second, because I think you were the mastermind behind last week's fiasco. So I'm going to ask you, keep your question concise. All right?
Was it last week? Oh yeah, it was Saturday. Yeah, that was.
Now, it wasn't your fault. I'm not blaming you, but other people took advantage of what you did. So it's not on you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my bad. No, it was just so I get the whole, how to pretty much refute the argument of, Eratosthenes proving a spherical Earth or trying to prove the circumference of the Earth. Another doubt that I've heard, and I'm pretty sure you guys can address this quickly, is the doubt of Crepuscular Rays. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly.
What doubt? Can you elaborate on the doubt? Just so what the doubt is.
So the Crepuscular Rays. So they pretty much say that the reason why they say that the sun is parallel, but because it comes in the reason why it comes in divergent is because of a perspective effect.
We dealt with that for the past hour.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to figure out what would be the best concise way to deal with it, because I've spoken about this with some of my relatives, and then they tried to bring that point up. I know you spoke about it earlier. I just because I missed a few bits of it here and there because of connection on my end.
The inverse square law of light. That means it has to diverge. The inverse square law of light. All light diverges. So there's no way for it to be parallel, because the inverse square law of light shows that light will always diverge from its source.
You got the. Hold on a second. Hold on. I need to know this because I keep on hearing that sound in the background. You got your windshield wipers on?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay as long as I got it correct. Look at that. All over it. Continue.
It was smacking his dashboard all the time. But okay.
Yeah, you thought that he was just rocking back and forth, smashing his dashboard.
It's more fun, right?
It's just I'm doing some deliveries, and it's raining where I'm at right now, so that's why I apologize. That's
some
okay. Of the areas I was in, it was kind of cutting out. So
I got you.
What were you mentioning, Brian? What was the name that you said earlier, Brian? The law of what? I'm sorry.
The inverse, INVERS, the inverse square law of light. If you look into that, the inverse square law of light, you will see that light always diverges from its source. Even from a flashlight, from anything, it will always diverge. So that's why sun rays have to be divergent, because they must diverge from their source.
Okay, perfect. That's pretty much that's the clarification I needed. Because I've had this discussion with some of my relatives about it, and then they like to bring up the whole Eratosthenes thing. And the first thing I mentioned to them is, well, he presupposed sphere Earth, and then he had to place the sun at a certain miles. I think it was like 3 million miles in order for his experiment to work, and it still did it at the end.
Yeah, it's not an experiment, by the way. I already dealt with that. You know what? You should bring some of your relatives on the show.
I need to, yes. I definitely do. Every time I try to bring up some of these points, they're just like, they always like to, put the hand up like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what? And then, and they end up giving me questions like, okay, if the Earth is flat, why should it matter?
Oh, brother. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll deal with that one on another day. Is that all?
Yeah. That's everything. I appreciate it, Quantum.
Yeah. Not a problem. Betty, you got the con again?
Well, it's easy. We're going down the list again. And we go to Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm Mitchell from Australia, same name. On YouTube, I run a daily show called Flat Earth School. Catch me at the same time as QE, at 2 p.m. Central. That's why I'm here today. Yeah, just catch my show on YouTube. We're definitely not living on a globe. We definitely don't have a spotlight for a sun. It's all farcical. It's a great show today. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell?
My channel? Mitchell from Australia.
No, I said, did you do a simulcast so that the same time as now, right?
No. I'm exclusively on QE's channel. I'm going to mirror this on my channel after.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, good.
It's all QE.
Okay, now we go to Sasha.
Well, nothing special. Nice to be here. And I'm not watching Netflix. I'm spending my time watching this show.
Good. Thanks, Sasha.
Everybody can, if I choose go to cinema or something, I choose this. My opinion, only my, how to say, choice, nothing else. But good show. Eratosthenes especially.
Yeah. Thanks for your dedication, Sasha, and good luck with those camels.
You can buy women for the camels.
But who knows? Maybe he had some other animals and help more than Maybe it was not only cats.
Yeah, a
You know-
dumb animal.
No, some. No, I didn't say before. Maybe some oasis was like a point of reference. This oasis of water, it's straight to that line, and then then that's it. Bullshit.
All right, Sasha, thanks. Appreciate it. Adam, go ahead and round us out, man.
Cool. Well, I'm going to try and be brief. So I've got 14 points.
Yeah, right. Betty, you'll wring your neck.
I mean, on the presentation, I won't make any comment other than wicked. I think the amount of chatter it generated speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So the only point I want to really reiterate is what Brian just said at the end there in response to the Truth Seeker. The inverse square law is exceptionally useful in a number of arguments, particularly the luminosity of the moon, for example. But in terms of what we discussed tonight, its whole description requires divergence and it describes the behavior of light, and it requires divergence. So yeah, I thought that was a fantastic point from Brian, and kind of if you want to go into detail, it really does help. You can maths the crap out of them with this, formulas and all sorts. But fundamentally, like I said, it shows divergence, doesn't it?
Yeah, these guys been killing it, man. Brian's been killing it.
Yeah,
Brian and Mitchell, they're up and comers. You better watch yourself, Adam.
Oh, I mean, I look forward to it. I look forward to it. Other than that, I'll finish with just saying I'm going to spam it again. Because he's here tonight. He's Flat Earthers channel. Love it. Wicked. Like I say, as long as it's English version, go and enjoy it. Unless you are fluent in the South Continent's lingos. I'm not even sure particularly which dialect it's in, Arthur. But I said the English shows for me fantastic. I really enjoyed the bits I've seen, and point people towards it because it's a very civilized chat, very civilized. I really did enjoy it. But yeah, other than that, cheers, QE. It was a good show. And I don't think, and I'll stand to be corrected, I don't think I rumpus you tonight. QE did, I know, but
that's a damn lie. You rumpused her once that I heard.
Well, I think Adam did a good job today, not trying to rumpus me. Yes. You, on the other hand, John.
I don't want to hear
it. But Adam, since you talked about the Celts and that, are you going to do a presentation on that? Because I think that might be good for your show one time.
Yeah, I think what I'm looking into is with 10th. I'm just kind of researching it, and genuinely, it's lovely the way stuff is unveiled to you, isn't it? Sometimes if you search on with it, and to see that, because like for years I've always wondered, what was all that cross about? Yeah, and there's no issues with whichever Christianity you follow, because it's like I say, Celtic Cross is post-Christian even. And that's why you question, why is it like that? But for you to incorporate the sign of the cross within something that measures the heavens, I just thought was fantastic and interesting that these geeky historians that go out there, and I say to have its valid. The way the guy discovered this was like I said, via the pyramids. It was just completely benign research. He wasn't interested in trying to prove a sextant. He was interested in trying to find out what's that pile of crap in the Queen's shaft in the Queen's chamber. And so for it to link back and then to see that, I love stuff like that. So I don't know, there's a presentation there because I'll be on to something else next week, Betty. But
and I sort of understand that the whole Celts and stuff, the history of that might be amazing too.
Well, yeah. It depends where you want to follow, which routes you follow. But it was me. I would take the route of Akhenaten and Scotia and look at that heritage through the Basque region and then into Hibernia and like I say, that to the forming of Scotland. And that history's there from the Egyptians. It's a shared past we have, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can do something on your show one time, right?
I don't have a show. I love just being around you guys.
Yeah, no, you have a thing, right, going on with some of your presentations and stuff. So
I tell you what I'd want to do is link with what you're doing. Once you've done your bit, yeah? Because I think, as we alluded to earlier, we're all on different journeys and we all have, some of us don't believe in a creator, some of us believe in Christ, some of us don't, some of us have different views of Christ. And I think once we've got past that point, I'd love to start to share some of my viewpoints, however kooky they are, with people and discuss it, because I've really enjoyed it with, he's not here tonight, with Scrap and stuff, just chatting. And whilst very different theological viewpoints, I still find the fellowship, yeah, and discussing Christ enriching. Yeah,
it is. Absolutely. I'm going to stop you now because QE is going to kill me if I'm going to continue on this path.
He won't stop you if you're talking about Christ. I guarantee you that he wouldn't dare. I'm done.
Adam, I'll tell you what, you'll weasel you.
Annoy.
Yeah, you know me too well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, it doesn't matter if it's genuine. If it's not like, I'm not talking like baller crap, but like being Scrap, we were chatting for hours the other night,
right?
Even with his bad reception, yeah. And it's not about necessarily agreeing with the person, but if you're in fellowship and you're both seeking Christ, yeah, and even if your opinions are very different, it's still, like I say, enriching for your soul, yeah. So, and that's what I maybe would want to do with you guys, because we are different, and I accept that, and you accept you accept me for that, and that's important, that you let me engage in what I'm discovering for myself, and that's all I ever claim, what I'm discovering for myself, and I appreciate that leeway you give me, whilst ever I know it doesn't sit with your theological views. And for the audience, that's good that you get to hear that, and to hear that discussion. I think it would be good, and we could all learn from it. Not to change our theological principles.
Well, we could.
But just to grow in Christ, yeah. However it is.
Yeah. Well, you can sort of adopt people's ideas about it, if it makes sense.
All right, Betty. Yeah, Betty, let's go ahead and round it out. Go ahead. Your final thoughts here.
My final thoughts?
Yeah, elevation angle, real quick. Elevation angle and the Eratosthenes eclipse train. You rumpusing me.
If you are going to go over these points already, right? Then there's no point for me to respond.
Just quick thoughts on elevation angle and the Eratosthenes train wreck. If you have any, if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah, the Eratosthenes. I mean, I thought we were done with that one for the longest of time, and that Al-Biruni was the one that we talked about later, right? Because that was really the one that did it, right?
Right.
Wrong sort of calculation.
Yeah, but Eratosthenes is brought up. I still, at least once a week, I'll hear Eratosthenes.
Yeah, people have set up these golden calves, right? The Eratosthenes is one of them, I think, and they tend to go back to that person.
Yes.
If it is a person, right? Because we don't know. We have hardly any evidence of the guys ever this trip.
I don't really care at this point if he did it. I hope and he did, because whatever they parroted from him, it's belly laughing nonsense. He's finished.
He existed in, well, the person in history that they attribute it to him existed. So Eratosthenes was a librarian in Alexandria, as far as I understand. But how there's no attribution with any of the other documents other than the story that's given to Eratosthenes, the historical character, and that pseudo experiment.
Right, it was 150 to it was a bunch of years later. I think it was Cleomedes and Strabo, if I'm not mistaken. It was hundreds of years after he lived, so they didn't know him.
Yeah, sort of like the same thing that we are talking about people that lived 100 years before us, right?
Right.
Betty, it's a bit like Newton, isn't it? It's ascribed to him afterwards. He probably wanted nothing to do with it, like Newton and gravitation. But
we talk about people saying things or claiming that he might not ever done, and how foolish is that, right? Because we have no writing of him of his own hand.
Nope. No primary documentation. You're right. So
no secondary witnesses at the same time period. Whatever. Nothing.
There's all you got is secondary and tertiary anecdotal fallacies for Eratosthenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a quote here. Eratosthenes saying that no man ascribed to me that parallel rays can be derived from a point source.
You think that he sort of wrote a disclaimer for the future already?
Yeah. He at least had that foresight, didn't he?
He anticipated the nonsense, right? That is lunatic.
We need to find a cave somewhere in Greece, somewhere where there's that sort of Dead Sea Scroll, but then the Dead Greece Scrolls.
The Dead Greece Scrolls. That is too funny.
How did I get that out of my mouth?
I have no idea.
And then there's a whole bundle of disclaimers for this time. I would love to find that one.
Future disclaimers. If these guys try to attribute any nonsense to me, you know I didn't. That's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe you should.
Other than the scientific method.
Right? Because after we are sort of like kick the bucket, then people might distribute things to us.
Yeah. That all come out in the wash. So, hey, shout out to Nathan Oakley. That FED, Flat Earth Debate 1507 Uncut is premiering now. So he spammed it in the chat. So the episode that we're talking about, go watch that because it's out of control. It's an evisceration on a level that every flat earther needs to be. That should be. It should be the benchmark to which you aspire to, right? Because it's so well done. So shout out to Nathan for that. All right, anything else, guys?
Helium pools, huh?
I love the invisible helium pools. You'll hear that again, by the way.
Wrap it up, because I'm going to go and listen back to that.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah. All right, Betty. Anything else?
Nope, this was it.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys. All the panel members. I hope you guys got a lot out of the brief presentations I gave. Maybe the time span, the lack in length is not the lack of substance. I mean, elevation angles and the triple trichotomy train wreck that these numpties hold, catch them. Take them to the woodshed, right? It's easy as pie. Oh, and a reminder, numpty clips, hang out. They're still coming. With the month of October, we got another one tomorrow. We got the glue Rumpy, the glue sniff and numpty greatest hits tomorrow. Mondays was Brenda. Yesterday's was Brenda, and we got 2 more weeks. And let me tell you something. Hold on to your hats, folks. Keep it cool out there. Hang in there. Take no prisoners. No quarter will be asked. None shall be given. And remember, I'll be back.